Question everything, for the truth should not be televised. And that's for sure. So with that, you know, when I was young, you know, after going to school, trade school and so on, and, you know, getting all these different, you know, certifications and stuff to be able to work, you know, I found myself struggling to get a job. I found myself struggling to get into careers that I went to school for. Matter of fact, let's just say that all the stuff I went to school for, 25 certifications, I ain't never ever really got involved in none of that stuff. You know, and I used to always blame myself and stuff about why I'm not getting employed in the sense of being able to fund my livelihood. Because you can get employed and not make no money. That can take care of bills and take care of, you know, mortgage or rent and so on. So, gotta say it that way, to fund my livelihood. And in that, you know, I internalized that and kept blaming myself on what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting ahead? Why no matter what I do, I still can't get into the system to be able to feed myself legally in the sense of what it means to work. I never understood that. And being from the East Coast, you know, it was kind of hard on me young, you know, and as I started to traverse, really travel and go around, I started hearing a lot of my other counterparts that looked like me say the same thing, you know. I can't get a job, man, no matter what I do, no matter how many times I put an application, I'm just not getting called and not getting hired. And I remember one day, I was walking down the street on the East Coast. No need to know where I was at, just know I was on the East Coast. And a Spanish brother came to me, Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rico area. And he said, man, brother, I can't get a job. And I've been trying and looking for the last 2 years. Now, I didn't say nothing to him on that sense of I was going through that same struggle, but I listened. And he was like, I don't know what to do. My wife is on me. She's upset about it. I'm trying, I'm doing everything I could possibly can. And yet still I can't help her because I can't get a job. And it's devastating our relationship because I need to be able to help her. And in that moment of him talking, the brother started to actually weep on my shoulder. And you know, and I hugged that brother because I felt where he was coming from. And I told him then that, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. And I told him, you know, we got to keep trying because no matter what we do, at the end of the day, eventually something will change. And I left that brother and I walked away from him. And somewhere along the line of, you know, traversing different towns and different states, I like to travel when I can. Especially when I was young, I get up and run around. I started to ask myself, how could all these different people that I meet be in the same thought pattern and boat that I'm in? What is really going on? Why every time I bump into a brother, he's saying the same thing? What's stopping us from getting into a position of self-empowerment? And then I realized that no matter where we went, we always looked for jobs by other nations that didn't look like us. Every time we wanted to start an entrepreneurial gig, from landscaping to painting to you name it, we had to go to banks and ask folks that didn't look like us, can we get a loan? Or do we qualify for one to even get one? And then I started seeing a pattern that all of us was looking for jobs as Aboriginal Niggros, asking Latino companies for jobs, asking Mexican companies for jobs, asking Arab companies for jobs, asking Asian companies for jobs, asking colonizers companies for jobs. And I said to myself, that's the problem right there. It ain't us. The problem is that we're asking every other nation, can we get a job or can we get a career with the credentials and skills that we have? And none of them wanted to hire us. They only hire bare minimum us. And the colonized white folks, they definitely only hire bare minimum. But they market on their mainstream medias and social platforms as if we as a people don't want to work. As men, we don't want to take care of ourselves. That's what they market. But then I thought about it. I'm like, if I did a great wrong to you and owe you for that great wrong, then I carry a guilt with me. Why would I want to have the majority of you around me working, knowing that that guilt weighs on me? And even if I'm in denial of that guilt, it's still there. Not to mention, why would I want to hire a group in a nation of people that I openly always hated and brought hatred to? Wouldn't I ostracize them out and keep them out on the majority, only utilizing bare minimum to hire and marketing the bare minimum as if the majority of them are working and have opportunity in the country, knowing that that is not the truth? Wouldn't I promote that instead of promote the truth that I just don't want to hire them? And not to mention, other nations got to hire their own nation because their businesses are set up to hire their own nations. That's just the logical reality behind it. And when it comes to Aboriginal Niggros of America, not being able to get bank loans, grants, and funding to be able to open up our small businesses, and definitely not having generational wealth because we never got reparations and reparative justice for the crimes against humanity. Thus, we're passing on poverty and can't get ahead in the sense of economic growth. So we can't open up small businesses in abundance, whereas if other nations that are getting state and help, federal government help, and United States government help to be able to open up small businesses, we're not able to compete on that level because we're not getting that type of help. So when it comes to getting jobs, our children and our young adults are looking to other nations for jobs and careers, and this is why they're on street corners. This is why they're standing in the majority doing survival work when it comes to standing outside and hustling because they're unwanted in the system. And that's more likely than anything than us not wanting to work, not wanting to feed ourselves. And as I continue to travel from Florida to New York to Chicago to California, listening to the testimonies of my young youth still to this day, that order still is in effect for our people as I speak right now. From when I was young to me now being older with gray hairs, seeing the youth still going through that same circumstance. But when you drive around our communities, you don't see businesses owned by us. When you drive around and see these corporations and chains, like many different businesses that are out there, they're not owned by Niggros. They're owned by colonizers. And in turn, we're trying to get employed by a system that openly got us on the federal census list for ethnic hatred in the country as #1 on the list to be hated. And we don't see that as the problem on why our men are not getting empowered to wear the pants in the household and to be the bill runners when it comes to paying for the livelies of our family. It's because we're not getting involved in the system based off the system not allowing us to be involved because they're not giving us any opportunity to self-empower based off of us not getting no benefits in that area of grants, loans, or any type of support to open up small businesses in our community again. And that's the key word again, because we had small businesses. Shoot, y'all know about Black Wall Street and all these things. So when you see brothers out there on them street corners, just remember, when it comes to getting jobs, we seem to be the only nation that got to go to everybody else to get a job or a career in order to feed ourselves, when all other nations are getting funding to open up their own businesses to feed their own people. And with that, I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand it. But that is the question. You let me know. Peace, peace.